Hey everyone, welcome to another brand new episode of Did That Age Well? Before we get started, I want to give a couple of very important shout outs. First, huge shout out to Spider Moving, one of the sponsors of Dude IDK Studios. I think we can all agree that trying to move on your own is so exhausting, it's so stressful, it's so time consuming. So instead, you could just hire someone who's highly trained, highly experienced, going to make it look super easy. And with Spider, they're also going to use the highest quality packing materials. They're going to use the highest quality methods, helping you do the packing, the unpacking, the loading, the unloading. They're not just going to move you across town, but also nationwide. So whether you're doing a local move or you're moving across state lines, they've got your back, both residential and commercial moving. So big shout out to Spider. You can go to spidermoving.com for a free quote, and also go ahead and give them a follow on Instagram at Spider Moving Services. Thank you guys so much for supporting this space and in turn supporting the pod. I also have a huge shout out for a new collective. Basically, if you've ever wanted a personal shopper, but it turns out you're not a gazillionaire, I'm so excited to share that Becca at a new collective, they offer high quality secondhand fits for large to 5X plus. They do Instagram drops twice a week, but they're launching a personalized shopping experience called A New Edit that's based on your style, your size, your budget, your preferences. I actually just signed up myself and it was super easy. I just filled out a form with my measurements. I described the kind of pieces that I'm looking for, the kind of style that I'm looking for, how many items I wanted, and shared my Pinterest board with her for some inspiration. So I'm super excited to save some money and some time on some sustainable fits. And if that sounds like something you want to do as well, which you absolutely should, visit Shop a New Collective on Instagram, follow the link in her bio to get started, and also give them a follow for those twice weekly drops if you're looking for some fun plus size fits. So thank you, Becca and A New Collective, for being a friend of the pod. And now, for the exciting part, I am so happy today to be welcoming my guest, Keith Garcia.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. What's going on with you? What's going on at the sea? How was your day? Let's talk.
Day was good. Just busy, but mostly just, finding lots of things to get ready for the Sea Film Center. Just loading it chock full of movies for the next few months. So.
Gosh, is there anything that you're really super excited for in the next couple months?
We're doing this, so we have a program called Seesaw. That's our retrospective film series. Cool. And this month's August theme is summer camp, which is
so fun.
A hybrid. It's from cabins to kitsch. It's both movies about summer camp and camp.
Love that.
Movies. So
that's awesome.
Got a lot of great stuff in there, from obviously The Parent Trap and Friday the 13th and Sleepaway Camp to Whatever Happened to Baby Jane and Showgirls and Valley of the Dolls and The Apple and a whole bunch of stuff. So excited to get to that.
Oh, I'm so excited too. That's awesome. I have never really thought of The Parent Trap as a summer camp movie, but it absolutely is, because when I think about that movie, I think about Lindsay Lohan's character like playing poker at summer camp. That was so iconic.
So at least half of the movie is at camp.
It
summer
truly
camp,
is.
So.
Yeah. The girl that says, "Hey, tie-dye girl." I love her. Now, Keith, I have been wanting to ask you a question since before I met you. And this has nothing to do with Elvira, but it has everything to do with maybe you and me moving forward. And that is when I saw Baby Girl at the sea, and you were there doing an intro, and you described it as a Christmas movie. And I need to know, why is Baby Girl a Christmas movie? I need you to explain.
Well, for starters, important fact of Christmas movies, they have to take place at Christmas.
Okay, that is so true.
One.
Famously,
there's part one.
They do have to take place at Christmas.
And in that same effect, as an example of that, is like Showgirls takes place at Christmas, technically.
Right.
It's Vegas Christmas.
Sure.
And we only get the idea when she walks into one place and everything's decorated for Christmas.
Right.
Which could have absolutely been, that's just how it was when they were filming.
It absolutely could have been.
But where Baby Girl differs from Showgirls is that you can't bring up Christmas any other time in Showgirls.
Yeah.
But there's essence of Christmas throughout Baby Girl. Okay. There's the very notion of giving and receiving.
Period.
There's the notion of a family and, you know, what becomes of it. Also, there is just a lovely Christmas light hue. Everything is just a little Christmassy.
Yeah.
So that, like, even when she goes to her rave,
her
big rave, red and green is very much a light aesthetic in that warehouse.
Yeah.
So it's just it's subtle stuff that I think the director that she did very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Christmas movies don't always have to be 100% about Christmas at all. I mean, Tangerine is a favorite of mine. It's like how does the stress of the holidays add to the drama that's going on, and you know, people's annoyance with holidays, people's just apathy for the holidays, people's love of the holidays. All of that can have such an interesting take on the rest of everything going on. Right,
and how it, especially in Baby Girl, contributes to like the forcing together a family. And, like, that dynamic. Okay, Keith, you've completely changed my mind about what is a Christmas movie. Not just about Baby Girl, but about all Christmas movies. And that's why we're here today, everybody, to live and learn from each other. Yeah, that honestly kind of blows my mind. I did not put together the reds and greens in the rave scene, especially. But I wonder, do you think that people will return to Baby Girl around the holidays? Does that have to be... Okay. For something to be considered like a Christmas or holiday movie, do people have to sort of return to it around Christmas time?
I don't think they have to, but I think when you're putting it into context, like as a film programmer,
right?
If I was putting together a series for this Christmas, and maybe I will,
and
maybe I will. I do always love to throw something in that is more of a like, what? What is that one? And like I just mentioned, the notion of there are themes within Baby Girl that are just accentuated by the Christmas time.
Yeah.
If that movie took place in the dead of summer, it probably still would have had the same effect. But there's kind of there's more of a cozy nuance to the holidays and that type of weather in New York City, and like all that stuff where it's like, I don't know. I find Baby Girl would be one that it's like, if you just remind people that it's a Christmas movie and it's associated, there may be some bringbacks for people to be like,
I'd like to bring it back around Christmas time.
There you go.
I'd love to use that like as an excuse to be like, let's all watch Baby Girl.
Exactly.
Yeah. So did you love it? Did you love Baby Girl?
I did, actually.
Okay, me too.
That movie I think really explores well-trod ideas in semi-erotic film, but I thought in really unique and interesting ways. I love that oh my gosh, my age, that just I'm forgetting names. The young actor who's the lead,
the hot one.
Yes, the hot one.
I mean, they're all hot.
Exactly. I love that he's hot, but he's also a dork.
He is such a dweeb because the whole thing is that nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah, and exactly. That he's even shocked that any of it works. And so there's a niceness to that, and also I love to see Nicole Kidman just continue to explore.
Me too.
Every nook and cranny area of her persona, her acting ability, her everything, that she's like, I'll take any character, and I'm gonna be, masturbating on a shag rug in this one. Great. I've always wanted to do that on film. Like,
and she nails it.
And she nails it
right on that shag rug.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for clearing all of that up for me. And I feel like now we can move forward in a more harmonious way.
Yes.
I want to know, what is your relationship to Elvira?
Well, I was born gay. And so I feel
beginning, middle, and end of story.
So my brain was automatically attuned to the essence of what Elvira is, which is,
of course,
strong female women that are bubbly, very sexy in various ways, but also don't mind a stupid sexual innuendo. I don't know. That was just, I when Elvira was at the height of her fame, I guess she kind of came out around like 83, 84. I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
And I definitely caught Movie Macabre on TV at the time. And so I was just always transfixed. I had no, it led me to do more research on horror hosts of yore, you know, when I got a little bit older and was like really exploring, like, why do I love Elvira so much?
Yeah.
So that was a great little bit that she did. But there was just such this, like, the Valley Girl goth was such a unique idea to me. And I don't know, it just all made me just like fall in love with her. And so I always watched Movie Macabre, learned about a lot of very interesting bad movies.
Yeah.
Learned a lot about Roger Corman and that era of bad films. But then just also, like, I wasn't aware until doing later research just how much her world was wrapped up with Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
That, you know, we learned much later that they were like best friends, but they all came up from the Groundlings. And her whole shtick of Elvira came out of the Groundlings. Right. And her co-writer on this film, John Paragon, who's a great writer and actor, was John B. from Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Yeah.
But that she was just in that world, that these were that Cassandra Peterson, you know, that's Elvira outside of the goth girl, would be at these LA parties just having fun and just laughing about all these things, and coming from this world that she did of being you know, a Vegas showgirl, Colorado owned, by the way. It's not owned, like she's not owned by anybody, but we can claim her. Colorado claims Cassandra Peterson for graduating from Colorado Springs and spending time here.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So at some point, though, it just as a child, I was just like, this is someone who's going to stay with me for a long time. Totally. So when I saw the first preview in like 1988 for Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, the movie, I was lined up. Back then, you literally had to line up. You couldn't get your tickets online.
Yep, you lined up.
And I know I saw that film, and I probably saw that movie in a theater at least 20 times. I did a lot of sneaking in.
That's amazing.
I did a lot of, like, I went to movies every weekend, but I would definitely do the, like, I'm going to this movie at this time, and then going to the bathroom, and then I'm just going to wind up in the other theater again to rewatch a movie that I really liked.
You're there all day,
Exactly. And then when this thing hit VHS, like, me and my best friend Richard, like, we rented VHSs all the time, and we both just fell in love with this movie and furthered our love of Elvira.
And how could it not? She is so likable. She is, first of all, a dork. She's both like the coolest girl you've ever met and also a total dweeb, telling corny jokes and just kind of being like, well, I guess that's it, you know? But also, she's really, I think, the prototype for hot goth, and that is monumental for all of us. And she, even though she plays sort of these Valley Girl stereotypes, she still takes that stereotype and turns it on its head by basically being a vampire. It's so cool.
Yeah. And she doesn't take any guff from anybody.
Certainly not.
Even when she's up against a demon.
Even against a demon, a warlock, fake uncle. She's not going to take guff from anyone. And that's one of the things that I love best about this movie is that Elvira she's a sexual being, but she owns her sexuality in a way that is actually her own, and she doesn't take shit from anybody. When these creepy guys make these sexual advances toward her. She's not like, well, I am a slut, so I guess I'll have sex with you. It's like she's a slut with standards.
Yes, absolutely with standards.
Yeah.
And as much as guys will be leering, she'll be leering right back.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Like her complete falling over Bob in this movie, which I love the character of Bob as, you know, and doing research on this film, you know, a while back, that he was literally written to be a blonde bimbo.
Yeah, he's a himbo. He does it so perfectly. And also, I love that he's named after Robert Redding, her costume designer who died of AIDS.
Exactly.
To whom this movie is dedicated.
Exactly. Such a lovely little bit there. And you know, too, just that you know, Robert Redding was that they created the look of Elvira together. That was, you know, he was a makeup artist and hairstylist who could just be like, no, what it needs is this. What it needs is this. And you literally, like, what's great about this movie that differs from the TV that we watched or even the commercials or whatever, and you could really only get if you bought a poster or something of Elvira at the time, was there's such great close-ups of her makeup, her eye makeup, of just little facets. You just catch it sometimes, like, you know, the script is fun, but it's not deep.
No, yeah.
This is about as deep as as a kitchen sink.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
But there's just moments where you might be kind of like grasping on. It's the busy work of the other characters having to move the story along. Where you're like, okay, that's fine. I kind of get it, but let me just look at Elvira's, like, just the cut of her eyebrows and her, like, eyeliner and just, like, everything, like, just meticulous and lovely. And so, so amazing that she dedicated this whole film to him, you know, after losing him, which this comes at a really nice, like, second point in the 80s. Right. This was 88, and 84, 85 was when we really started to lose a lot of queer people from dying of AIDS. Yeah. And obviously her running with the Groundlings, running with the Pee Wee Circle, like, she was obviously, you know, these were her best friends and cohorts, and so I just knew it was a world that she just lived in and didn't take for granted. Yeah. And so, you know, she became a superstar based on, even before the movie. The movie was a modest hit. It was not. It was not a barn burner.
Nothing to really write home about.
No, exactly. But it just cemented the personality that we just like know and love. So.
Oh yeah, of course. And I think it's really beautiful how she took this movie and made it just like a fuck you to the moral right, this group that, like, essentially was just like letting her friends die. And she was like, these people are bozos. Yes. And we're going to write a silly movie about it. And we're going to make fun of them. And I think that it's so refreshing to see somebody take, I don't know, something that, while this movie is deep as a kitchen sink, the way that it really does address what's going on in the current moment, but not in a heavy-handed way, I think is so, I don't know, like you said, it's like there's so much love behind it.
Exactly. And, you know, it's definitely a film that you can watch today and get a lot of, like, because you'll find these films that are associated a bit with, which is always very sad, that we're still in this. Yeah. It's still about the moral majority. Yeah. And then everyone else. Yeah. And always having to fight against that, and, you know, underdogs having to just really, you know, tooth and nail their way out of every situation. Right. And but it's nice to apply the lens of, like, well, you know what, I can plug into my inner Elvira. Yeah. And, like, pull my, you know, self up by the bootstraps, or the bra straps in this case. I was going to say the boob straps, really. And just, like, make it happen, you know. Yeah. And you can absolutely see, were they to update this film today, like, that she ends up in a MAGA town, and you know, it's the same kind of thing. That, right. You know, you don't have to, you know, when you name your lead co-villain character Chastity Pariah, like there's so much to work with.
Chastity Pariah.
Chastity Pariah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, whatever you want to name
it's
them.
Interchangeable.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Have you seen the documentary about the making of this movie, the Too Macabre?
I think I've seen a little too, some bits and pieces. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, so I was going to ask you if it's worth seeing. But
I think it is. I mean, that was the nice thing about projects at this time is someone was always recording something.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
There's so much behind the scenes of everything made in the 80s and 90s because it was just like, we're just doing all this.
Right.
Even before social media was like a real thing. It's like, well, we got to market the movie somehow.
Right.
So the best way to do that is this way. Yeah. I can't
awesome.
remember where that doc ended up. Like if it was through, I think it was made up of pieces that ended up on like a bonus DVD kind of stuff or like the tail end of the VHS tape.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So excited to read that she came out as sexually fluid in her memoir.
Yes.
I completely forgot about that. Like I remember seeing it on Twitter and stuff and people being like, wow, this is awesome. But I was just like I was so touched that she came forward about this like 20-year relationship that she had with a woman, and that she like had kind of been hiding it because she felt like Elvira's sex appeal was so like male centered, and she was afraid of like how it was gonna impact that character and her brand and all of that. But the fact that she was just like, I mean, all of her fans are gay, so it's like everyone was like, yeah.
I feel like that's absolutely the thought process she must have gone through too. It's like, sure, she hid it for 20 years because I think 20 years ago the character was at that point where it was not making the money that it had once before, and not that she was ever going to be forgotten,
of course,
by any means, but I can understand as like a an actor and a businesswoman, like there's always something to worry about, which must have felt like a prison cell to her, going through the queer community. Yeah. And, this realization seems to have come very late in life, which is great. That's fine whenever you get there. Totally. That's great. But then to be like, oh my God, I thought we'd progressed, but now I have to consider like what coming out, or at least being representative of the queer community, could do to this character. And although that's the really great thing about it is like Cassandra is very different than Elvira. I mean, they share a brain, but
they do share a brain.
It's like, this wasn't about the character of Elvira coming out, I think Elvira as a character is probably just as lesbian as most women end up being in like a Hammer vampire film or something like that, where it's like, well, it's just the thing to do. It's just
it's hetero flexible.
Exactly. It's the Catherine Deneuve, Susan Sarandon-ness of like the hunger. It's like, well, of course two beautiful women are gonna make out and just touch each other's breasts a little bit.
It's not gay.
Yeah, exactly. But I still, regardless of Cassandra's leanings, I've never thought Elvira thought of anything more than dudes.
Completely.
Hot dudes.
I think that while Elvira does have these pieces of Cassandra Peterson, like the Vegas showgirl of it all, hosting her own like horror B-movie commentary. She actually had said that she figured out after playing Elvira for a while that she was Elvira as a teenager. She said that she's a spastic girl. I just say and feel, or I say what I feel, and people seem to enjoy it. And I think that totally shows. She's like a weird little teenager who's like, kind of says whatever she wants and is like, here I am.
Yeah, I definitely think like the teenage aspect is a majority of the persona. Like, I think about when she kind of throws the fake crying fit when she finds all the kids and none of them will hang out with her because they're going to get expelled if they're hanging out with her, and she goes to the very maudlin like The lines in this movie, by the way, I recite at least 5 lines a week from this film. It's like this movie and Clueless has worked itself into my lexicon daily, weekly, etc. But she just begins the whole process of like, when they talk about me, just tell them I was more than just a great set of boobs. I was also an amazing pair of legs. Or when you talk about me, just tell them that
2 simple words.
Yeah, 2 simple words. Any 2 will do as long as they're simple. And then just throwing herself on the counter, just crying until they all come around, and then she's like, "Oh, great,
okay,
yeah, lovely.
All right, see you guys at the theater."
But yeah, it is the Valley Girl, it is the teenager, just a lot of the like facial expressions, the rolling of the eyes, the so much of that around. But then there's the hard woman who'd been through the business. Who'd been fucked around too much.
Yeah, who says, I'm never working for that sleazeball again, but I'll just probably end up working for another sleazeball.
Exactly. One of my favorite things is within the first, I guess it's the first 10 minutes, and it's after the opening credits when she's driving to Falwell, Massachusetts, and lands there. Is when she runs into Edie McClurg. Their whole exchange, which first of all is like, well, I never. And she says, well, you never will with those soup cans on your head. Right. And then Edie says something about her dress, and she says, listen, if I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you. Yeah. And it's that to me sets the tone of so much of like, that's the tough Elvira dancing with the teenage Elvira who, is just so amazing. Just makes this film so fantastic.
I feel like this movie, if she wasn't already an adult woman, this movie really could be a coming of age and her finding her power. Like the power was always within you. Like this sort of like Wizard of Oz type message. Like it does really have that, I don't know, it has that twist to it, but she also is like a fully formed person and a human adult.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about what age Elvira was supposed to be in this period, like, as Elvira, I always just pictured her as like a 24-year-old woman. Yeah. Very young and just like eternally. Like whenever I see her, I'm always like 24.
Exactly. Because that is the gift of being a vampire.
Yes.
That you're ageless.
Yes.
That's like her quality is that like she's ageless, she's timeless. She's also, like our Christmas movies, some of them, she's associated with a holiday and therefore she's relevant every year.
Yep.
The Halloween and Elvira combo. The combo that was always meant to be.
Yes.
I mean, so she's kept up her relevance that way and through this movie, of course, and her character coming up every year around Halloween. But of course, it's good all year round because it is July and we're talking about it today.
Yep.
100%. 100%. I did also love that this is just like a classic fish out of water story, and it starts off so, it has all the beats of just a normal fish out of water story. It's, it's Footloose. It's someone coming to this conservative town and being like, and you can't dance here? You can't watch R-rated movies here? What's going on? Why don't you just live a little? But then it's about witchcraft, and then it's like the dog is a familiar, and she's like, but at the same time she's befriending these teenagers. Like we're rooted in sort of these like movie conventions, and then, or I guess sort of these like the fish out of water conventions, and then all of a sudden there's a fight between a witch and a warlock.
Yep. I mean, the movie peels back like a really good onion.
Yeah.
On the surface, it's just a very simple, like, whatever. And then you're like, oh, yeah, we are in a horror film.
Right.
Just like any of the horror films that she would have had on her show.
Right.
And it's not going to be a great script of a horror film. It's going to be just very basic. It's, but then, oops, I just ended up being in this place.
Totally.
But yeah, there's just so many fantastic nuances with everything from, you know, the revelation of her powers, you know, that she's had in her family from her mother and her aunt.
Right.
And, you know, there's the amazing, I will always remember the look of the little baby Elvira at the orphanage, already fully done up in makeup and hair.
Incredible. Just born that way.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And, oh God, I just forgot what I was going to say. We were talking about her. Oh yeah, the horror comedy of it all.
Yeah.
So, I feel like I'm not very familiar with horror comedies before this time. I imagine that I don't know if that's just a lack of my knowledge or if horror comedy just wasn't really a genre up until this point.
It had been for many years before, but I think definitely had taken a downturn. I'm only going back to like Abbott and Costello.
Okay.
And them, you know, meeting Dracula, Frankenstein, etc. The various characters that they did. It's always kind of been an interesting notion to me that horror as a genre always had a callback of comedy in some essence, that if there wasn't, you know, for every scream, etc., there was a balance of scary movie. Yeah. To like do that stuff. Or there's a couple of fun comedies from the 70s and early 80s. There's Saturday the 14th.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which is less slasher movie related and more just like spooky but funny.
Yeah.
There's Student Bodies, which is a spoof of slasher movies.
Okay.
And that's really fun. And then I just think, there's kind of been a light essence. You know, it's that levity that's needed. Yeah. You know, in a genre, especially to do that. And yeah, this movie just perfectly balances. I mean, it's Cassandra and John Paragon really working to keep Elvira just moving through the set piece of this wild horror comedy. Totally. And keep the laughs rolling. Yes. At a clip.
And at every point when you think, oh, is it going to get dark? Then she says some corny line. And I mean that, I say corny with love. I love all the corny lines. I love all the stupid little innuendos. Like, this movie is stupid in the best way. You know what I mean? Yes. I also, I like that in the end, she doesn't stay in the town. Like, the typical, like, I think what we would expect in most movies is that this fish out of water person, the town comes to apologize to her. They want to take her in. They love her. And then she, in turn, decides, oh, actually, we can just bridge our differences and I'll stay here and be the hometown hero. Instead, she says, no thanks, and she goes to Vegas to do what she always was going to do.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing. Pursue your dreams. You'll reach them. Dreams. And, you know, since this ultimately is about the underdog making their way through, I mean, it's not a cheat of an ending in that it's like, well, you vanquished the villain, and because you're related, you're the only person who gets his estate. Albeit that's kind of the same logic that came to getting her to Falwell was, you know, the great Aunt Morgana says, and she says, I didn't know I had a good aunt, much less a great one.
So stupid. I love it. And not only that, but in the this is where I think sometimes I'm like, is this movie really, how earnest is it? Is it earnest, or is it really just a spoof in many ways? Because she says, oh my God, can you, like, imagine that timing, just right in the nick of time, this offer has come my way. Like, she spells it out in a way that is so funny and camp. I'm like, well, they did that on purpose, right?
Yeah, you know? They're literally doodling on the screenplay of a bad horror movie.
Right,
they're just like, but what if?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's the I mean, they came from the Groundlings, they came from improv. It's the yes and.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
You know, it's the, imagine a town ruled this way with a warlock at its center. Yeah. And this bubbly goth, you know, vampire valley girl shows up.
Yeah, it's like they said, okay, give us a few suggestions. They said goth, valley girl, witches, and they said, okay, we'll make a movie. And I also, sorry, I just lost my train of thought again. Dang it. Oh yeah, okay. I was also gonna say that the other piece that I think is really cute about Elvira, more cute's not the right word. The thing that's important about Elvira is that like she, even though she's conventionally hot, she's like turning that like hot girl stereotype on its head by being a cool goth girl. But she's also smart. Like the hot dumb girl can be smart and clever. And I love to see that.
Yes.
Yes. It's not just like the traditional like dorks that are smart. Like you can be hot and smart too.
She's essentially just like the perfect balance of like everybody. Like
yeah.
Like smart enough to not be fooled by most things, but also dumb enough to be like, oh, which we all are.
Right.
But it's like, you know, one of my favorite sequences in the movie is when, which it's funny because my brain always goes into a timeline, which doesn't matter because we're in a movie. But she has the midnight movie at the theater. It's run, so it's a 90-minute runtime about we have to estimate. So at that point, it's almost 1:30 in the morning. Then she has her dance sequence, and then she gets tar and feathered.
Thinking the same
and
thing.
And then she goes home, and then she's got to soak in gasoline to get the tar out after Patty foils her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're sitting on the couch, and it's got to be 3 a.m.
I was thinking the same thing. It's 4 a.m. at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
And mind you, they do get to the end of, you know, the doesn't happen on TV anymore, but the like station signing off, which was like a 4 a.m. kind of thing. And then it's like, oh, are you hungry? I'm hungry. Let's like, and it's like, all right, now I'm going to cook dinner at 5 a.m. Anyway, like I said, that's irrelevant to the whole thing, but
exactly. But I thought
my brain always goes to it. But anyway, the sequence where she decides to cook dinner out of the recipe book and just the like, you know, these wild names for these, you know, spell, you know, potions and things, and just go into the cabinet where the things are and just like obviously pulling worms out of a jar and be like,
you're like, I've never made a casserole before.
But just it's a great, and it's always love where she says, it doesn't taste bad, but it looks like cock-a-doodle. And then puts Cheese Whiz on it and then sits on a bag of potato chips to add a little crunch to the top.
I love it.
It's just such a great sequence of like, her silliness. I won't call it stupidity because she's not. Just her absolute silliness and just being like, here we go. We'll do this. She's
just it's kind of a yes and. Again, it's like, she's like, well, that's what's in the book, so I guess I'll do it. She also, I think her sexual liberation was ahead of its time in many ways. Like, I think that the campiness of it was probably more pronounced or like resonated more in the 80s when like the moral majority was more of and like the satanic panic of it all was kind of more prevalent in that special 80s way. But she's wearing what she wants to wear because she wants to wear it and not just for male attention. She's trolling on these guys who are sleazy with her. And like I was saying before, like she's a sexual being, but she has standards. She rebukes people who are creepy to her. And I just think that for the 80s, it was so ahead of its time. And I kind of wonder if maybe audiences needed a little bit more time to resonate with it. And maybe that's why it gained more popularity later. But I don't know, just speculation.
I mean, definitely a feminist icon, you know, from the start. Like, you know, just putting out there, that's who she was. She's like, I like being sexy. I feel good sexy. I'm going to lead, you know, cleavage out for everything. Like,
totally.
You know, the fact that, you know, she really only has one outfit to wear.
She has one outfit.
Variations on it. I love that she has the dress with the slit. And then when she's going to do, when they start to do repairs on the house, she puts on this kind of like, it's a black black like top and pants ish,
Yeah.
but they're also like tearaway from the side.
Yeah.
Like they're just linked by little like loose chains or something. But yeah, someone says something about her outfit, and don't you ever wear anything? Don't you ever wear anything nice? And she goes, yeah, sometimes I like to wear something low cut and sexy.
Yeah. It's the best.
So,
yeah.
but yeah, so many things. This is the queer kid watching this, just being like, lady, you're amazing.
Yes.
Like every little thing in here that someone, I love my parents, but my mom specifically would have been the one to like walk by me watching this on TV and been like, like, is everything okay here? And
Right.
we just be like, what?
Yeah. What?
My dad would of course be appreciative from the back.
Yeah, of course.
No, leave it on.
Yeah.
Leave it
Oh,
on.
no. I just want to see what happens.
Yeah. That's like around the same time-ish. I remember having HBO.
Oh,
And every
yeah.
movie that came on HBO. I remember seeing commercials for the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. That it was going to be playing on HBO. And it was definitely told I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
And I guess to that effect, I didn't even really realize what a whorehouse was. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
but I remember my dad watched it late at night on HBO, and it was after was supposed to have gone to sleep, and I snuck out of the room to like watch from the back of the couch, essentially.
Oh.
Best Little Whorehouse, and
Oh my God.
just to add into the pile of these various things, dealing with Dolly Parton, another amazing woman of the time.
Yeah.
So.
Another amazing gay icon with not just a great set of tits, but a great pair of legs as well.
Yes. And songs.
And songs, don't forget.
But yeah, that was the thing. Yeah, Dolly was of the same era of I'll wear what I want to wear. My boobs are obviously big.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
Essentially what it is. And
Yeah.
I'll joke with you. I know what I have on my body. I have it all the time.
Totally.
I know that I'm a sexy dumb blonde, but
Totally.
I'm in on the joke too. And that's actually, we're going to get around to it with Elvira, totally in on the joke. And that was the whole point is there isn't one moment that we're worried about Elvira. We're worried that she's going to make it out of the situation okay.
Right.
When she's been tied to the stake and they're going to set her on fire. Okay, what's going to happen?
With the Girl Scouts roasting marshmallows at the fire.
Exactly.
Incredible.
But, as a character, we're just like, but she's just going to make it through. She makes it through everything else in this world.
Right. She's just going to figure it out.
Yeah, her superpower is herself.
And that's the thing. She's always had the power within her. She saves herself. Like, Bob is there to support her. He's there because she wants him, but not because she needs him. Not because she needs to be rescued by him. Like, she's the one that does it herself. I mean, I guess her aunt also, revealed that power to her, but
Yes.
it wasn't that she, bestowed it on her. She always had it, but then she becomes aware of it.
Yeah, ultimately, I mean, we see, Bob tries to help her. Gonk tries to help her. Aunt Morgana from the afterlife is trying to help her. But at the very end, the only things that really get her through at the end of the film are her quick wits in the moment. It's tripping and falling in the graveyard and then using her stiletto heel to throw into Uncle Vinny. Uncle Vinny's his forehead, and then the whole thing in the house, fighting with him and severing his hand and getting the ring off the hand and just everything. She's like, nope, I'm not going down this way. I'm gonna make it out of here alive. I'm not a victim. I'm not gonna burn up in this house before I get to go to Vegas.
Right. She's got her eyes on Vegas. That's what she needs to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. I wonder, Keith, so Bob, he runs the movie theater. He picks the movies just like you.
Yeah.
And I also, I just got to say, I love that he's hot and dumb. That's just how I like him. But let's say the moral majority comes over, they take over the sea, and they say, you can only run G-rated movies. Would you quit?
I would
or
say,
would you make the most of it?
I would tell them, no, there's nothing wrong with G-rated movies.
Sure.
As long as there's plenty of sex and violence. I mean, I'm someone who I would push back the hell around that,
Well, yeah.
you know. But I work for a nonprofit, so we have a board, and thankfully the board is not like the
moral majority.
The moral majority.
They're not like the town council.
No, not at all. Not at all in Falwell. But you know, the benefit I have is I have the trust of a lot of people, and
right.
sort of keeping that up. And
yeah. They kind of gave Bob that job because they were like, well, someone has to do the job, and you have these impossible parameters. He doesn't know anything about movies.
No.
He's just kind of there.
I do love in that movie too where Elvira criticizes him for having an extra E in matinee, and I'm like, no.
So
You're correct, or he's correct.
Yeah.
she's like, I work in the movies, duh. It's like, no, you're about to put Mateen on the marquee. Yeah,
I know. I was really surprised that Bob knew how to spell matinee the correct way. So, you know, maybe he's full of surprises.
Maybe he is too.
Yeah. But I guess if I'm trying to think of some of my favorite G-rated movies, and I gotta admit it's hard.
I mean, we just gotta look at, you know, Disney flicks
exactly.
of the age of war. I mean,
yeah.
We'll go with like Fox and the Hound, or
sure,
you know, Aladdin, or I guess the question is, when did those start becoming PG?
Right.
Is the essence. Aladdin was probably a PG movie.
Probably.
I mean, we have to look at Elvira Brushes the Dark as being a PG-13 film of the time.
Yeah.
Which was that whole new rating system from like 84, 85.
Yeah.
But yeah, always an interesting balance of morals in those early movies, and what constituted too much.
Right.
You
and
know,
this movie, I mean, like, beautifully fits within the parameters of PG-13 by just using innuendo the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't say that "How's your head? I haven't had any complaints yet" is explicitly, you know, about sex because it's innuendo. So, I mean, that really, I think, saved this movie from being rated R and no one being able to see it.
But weirdly, even the tameness of that innuendo is cost the film the presence of Vincent Price, because the role of Uncle Vincent was written for him,
right? Yeah.
And he, though appreciative of Elvira, thought the movie was too racy for him to be in it,
right?
Which is really kind of sad, especially because there's a period of Vincent Price's career where I mean, he never really played an innuendo, but he did some horror comedies that lightly touched on that stuff. Right. And it's like, you wouldn't have lost. In fact, you would have gained a whole new generation of people if you could have gone toe to toe with Elvira.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was the notion of, like, you know, when she's talking to Uncle Vincent at his car, and Chastity Pryor thinks that he's soliciting Elvira.
Right, yeah. Oh my God. That was so funny.
Just, yeah, I'll do it for $50.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is always a question of, like, oh, what could have been if Vincent Price had gotten to be in this film. You know, unfortunately, he passed away very shortly after this movie came out. But I guess he got in his last touch with Edward Scissorhands as his final role, which is fitting. Totally. Interestingly enough, I don't know if you know this from research, is that Elvira wanted Tim Burton to direct this movie.
I was gonna ask you if you like what impact do you think it would have made if Tim Burton had ended up directing this movie? I mean, because he was busy with Beetlejuice.
Yeah, right? Beetlejuice at the time, but obviously Elvira was like, you did Pee-wee's Big Adventure,
right?
And like, that's how I picture this movie. Is like, my friend Paul Rubens got to be in this amazing leap from the TV to the screen movie, and I want the exact same thing. And I think he could have absolutely pulled it off.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing, is there isn't there's not a lot to pull off. Like, as a director, and that's probably why it worked with the director that they did go with, who had a huge career directing episodes and scenes in Saturday Night Live.
Right, yeah.
For decades. And he did a lot of the parody commercials when they started filming those separate from doing it live. I think she picked someone who got it, who understood everything.
Right.
And I guess the question is just like, what style elements would Tim Burton have brought to it?
Right.
You know, would it have been a lot more gothy? Would it have been a lot more super stylized?
Right.
Like, probably. Like, I can only imagine that the residents of Falwell would look a lot more, particularly... They'd probably look like conservatives of like the 60s versus the 80s.
Yeah.
And Elvira probably would have gotten to put on some other outfits that were a little bit more interesting and intense. But I think the job was served perfectly well by the director at hand. And, you know, just like with Vincent Price, it's just what could have been, it probably wouldn't have been a better film.
Yeah.
But just a different one, and just with a little touch of everything. I think the actor, and I always forget his name because he's one of those like 3-name people.
Oh,
it's like,
yeah. The one who ended up playing Uncle Vincent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not Millie Bobby Brown, but you know.
Right.
Like
but that basically, yeah.
I think he puts in a fine performance. He's got all the great anger and gruff of a frustrated warlock who has to deal with this entity that comes into his town to mess everything up.
Right.
And I think it's great.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I also thought, like, okay, it makes sense that this director is used to, like, most of his work has been, like, spoofs, satire. It just kind of, to me, it made sense, and I felt like, yeah, it was good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't need to be great around it. It really needed to just serve the purpose of providing a silver platter for Elvira to rest on and just be served to the American public and the world beyond that. And to that effect, absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And this wasn't an era where it was a lot more popular for a TV character or even like an SNL character, another improv character, to move from TV or the stage to a feature film. And I feel like I hardly ever see that anymore in the way that we did in the 80s and 90s, you know?
Yeah, and, you know, to tie it back to Saturday Night Live, that probably was the last bastion of jumping from the screen to screen was the various characters from SNL, from Wayne's World to Night at the Roxbury to Coneheads to just all these different things. But I think in the essence of those, and why most people complained about a lot of those SNL jumps, was that those characters were only written for sketches. Right. And Elvira had just created an entire persona, a whole world for this character that she could walk into any situation and be fine.
And say, what would Elvira do?
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't know if you've ever seen the sequel to this film.
I actually haven't seen it.
Yeah, Elvira's Haunted Hills.
Yep.
It's not the best.
Yeah.
Part of that is, I think, I feel like John Paragon wasn't part of it. Right. And I think Elvira had too much of a hand having to executive produce. So I feel like it became one of those films that I see very often, which is like the star ends up having to put in more of the money and more of the effort, and they get distracted trying to make sure the project happens.
She's not performing on the Vegas stage. She's raising $50,000 to self-fund her new her new show.
Exactly.
We've seen it time and time again.
And she puts a fine you know, she does Elvira great in this film, which is, I think it came out circa like 2002, something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say it was sometime in the early 2000s.
Yeah, 2001, 2002, which was, you know, 12, 14 years different from this Elvira. But there's a pacing that I have that is at a problem in that sequel. And I think that's the whole thing. A lot of what makes the rat-a-tat-tat of all the innuendo and this just essence of Elvira just moving through the world is comic timing.
Right.
And
exactly.
I think that the director and everyone just got that. And so the movie is just, there's beats and edits and everything just flows. And I think the problem with Elvira's Haunted Hills is that there isn't, I don't know that the people involved got that.
Right.
So it just kind of sits heavy sometimes. Jokes and innuendos are left to kind of hang in the air versus really like clip and hit. And that one's more of her actual take on Hammer horror films, British Hammer horror films. So she's like, it's a castle drama.
Okay.
Or a castle horror film drama. And there's just something about it that doesn't work 100%. She's fine in it, but if you want to just remember one amazing Elvira film performance, it really is just this one.
Yeah, totally. What did you think about her like Netflix and Hulu specials like in more recent years?
I thought those are great.
Yeah.
I mean, because it was getting back to the movie macabre stuff where she's just like playing around with films. Like,
totally.
You know, I'm a big sucker for talking over movies.
Me too.
Which is a world that, as a programmer, I worked with some local comedians who did a really great program called Mile High Sci-Fi back in the day, where they did comedy over a film. But most of those distributors got like cold feet about the right or wrong of what it is to put something over somebody else's work without their permission per se. So they stopped permitting the rights to show films if you were going to talk over them. So they started to this kind of like, it just wasn't for them anymore. But in the essence of where Elvira comes from, like a lot of those movies are public domain.
Right.
So no one really has the rights. And because they're public domain and most of them were shot for $20. Right. It's more ripe for the comedy, for the takedown, for
certainly more to discuss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that, she kind of like, I think Elvira today has definitely, she survived a lot. And she's moved through so many aspects of the industry. She's come out on top the whole time. And I think like the recent callback to these movie macabre films was really to kind of bring things full circle, to remind the younger generation of the last few years, like there was a thing. There used to be like this, these old movies that you probably don't ever want to watch. Like, you don't want to watch them because they most likely are bad.
Right.
But I used to talk over them, and it used to be fun. And I remember when Elvira kind of announced that she was retiring Elvira, just before the pandemic hit.
Right.
Being kind of really sad about that, and the fact that I'd never gotten to go to Not Scary Farm and see her show and any of those things. And then what I was appreciated about Cassandra Peterson was that when the pandemic hit and everyone was in lockdown and 2020 was just really being a jerk,
to say the least,
is that she brought Elvira back.
She said, you guys need this.
She knew that like people smiled because of her, that people really just like wanted that. And for whatever reasons that she set forth to retire from, that she really couldn't, that she owed it to all of us and the world to at least let Elvira like make her way through COVID. To kind of give her stamp of what that was like. Right. And then after that, it seems that where she's taken is, she got her book out. She wrote a memoir, and that was fantastic. Yeah. Let us see all aspects of you and your new, the second part of your life that you're going forward with. Yeah. Makes us appreciate her even more, especially in the queer community, coming out in that way.
Absolutely.
But it seems like Cassandra is definitely kind of quietly retired Elvira at this point. And I think that's probably the right thing to do, is quietly do it.
I agree.
When she goes to all the conventions now, She shows up as Cassandra and
Yeah.
probably saves, like, Elvira can come out again, I'm sure, for the right dollar amount.
Exactly.
And I'm like, that's great. Like,
keep the demand coming and you will get your check.
exactly. I mean, that's the whole thing with RuPaul. It's like RuPaul.
Oh, yeah.
Will, anytime they have to get into drag, they will do 45,000 things.
Yeah.
To make more money
Yeah.
while they're in drag, so that they don't have to kind of fall back on that.
Right.
Yes, doing the thing. They did that already. They did the schedule of every day for, for 4 weeks.
Right.
You get up, you get to the makeup chair, you sit and you get all this stuff ready together for hours. You sit in the uncomfortable shoes, the push-up bra, the uncomfortable dress, everything. And you just do it and you do it and you do it. And then you do it all over again. Like, they put in their time. And so
I absolutely agree, because it's like, I imagine that the pandemic hit, even though she kind of retired Elvira before the pandemic, I imagine the pandemic hit and she said, I like sitting at my house wearing my normal, regular clothes, and I could get used to this, you know?
Yeah.
And good for her.
Yeah.
And I also agree that, like, quietly retiring Elvira is a better way to go, because it doesn't, I think that it would be honestly too sad if there was like a funeral for Elvira, you know? And also, she's got to keep the door open to bring her back.
Exactly.
I mean, speaking of RuPaul, I mean, she was a guest judge. I think that was before the pandemic, though, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she'd been on twice before as a judge.
Yeah.
But she was a judge on one of my best friends who was on that show, Evie Oddly, who ended up winning.
A best
Drag
friend
Race.
of yours is Evie Oddly?
Yeah, just kind of.
I'm sorry. That was supposed to be a slam shut, dramatic, me gasping. Evie Oddly is your best friend? Oh my God.
And I will always remember that Elvira paid a huge compliment to Evie.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember if it was to her face or it was in the discussion after a runway.
Yeah.
But it was Evie. The runway challenge was a ball, and it was a Halloween ball.
I remember this.
And one of Evie's outfits was you had to, like, drag up a child's basic, like, Halloween costume.
Right.
And so Evie did dinosaur. And Evie put dino feet on top of high heels.
Yeah.
And Elvira, like, called that out and was like, that's one of the smartest things I've ever seen anyone do in drag. And you're like, when Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, queen of drag herself.
I was just going to ask, do you think Elvira is a drag queen?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, great. Me too.
I'm
glad we didn't have to argue about that.
You have to put on a character,
yes,
from top to bottom. You are doing drag.
Yeah,
that's what that all is. I mean, we're doing drag every day, just putting clothes on.
We're all born naked.
As a drag queen,
drag, as they say.
As a drag queen,
yes,
as an ultimate layer of that, she is.
Okay,
but
glad we agree.
But yeah, the fact that I just always remember, like, that's how I was very I was very proud of Evie,
of course,
for that entire season.
Yeah,
but I was particularly proud
when your icon complimented your
and it wasn't just like, oh, that was great. It was like, I am telling you, like, looking at a camera, I am telling you that what she just did was one of the smartest things I've ever seen anyone do in drag ever.
And that is really saying something.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah. Oh God, that's amazing. Can you imagine getting a compliment like that from someone like that? I
know. I would just pass out.
I would pass away.
Yeah.
You can find me in the underworld, babe, because I would be passed away.
I will say too, I was looking at social media the other day and saw, we had the Fan Expo come through town, and Cassandra Peterson was here for that.
Oh yeah.
And then I saw on social media that she's like, I'm at Casa Bonita, and
amazing.
I just know that if I had been at Casa Bonita and Cassandra Peterson came walking in with an enchilada, that would literally would have been a pass away moment.
Yeah.
Like, I would have just been like, I can't
go on living. It doesn't get any better than this. It's all downhill from here.
Exactly.
God, that's so cool that she was here. Ugh. And, I mean, I guess, like you said, she was here for a number of years earlier in her life, right?
Exactly.
So
I mean,
as
she
we said,
does
we
call
claim her.
Colorado Springs like a home
Yeah.
of hers. I think she's always happy to come back here.
Yeah.
I definitely know it's still in my strategic plan
Yes.
to find some way to bring Cassandra to the Sea Film Center.
Absolutely.
Or some aspect. I think you can't really show... I don't think they let you show Elvira Mistress of the Dark on screen unless she's there with it.
Well, what a perfect excuse to get her there.
That was kind of the MO for the rights, at least like a decade or so ago.
Yeah.
Was she had taken it all back,
Okay.
like brought it all to her, and you had to work with her company to screen it.
God.
But then you also had to be like, you have to invite her out.
Right, of course.
And yeah, so
Wow.
someday soon.
So, thoughts and prayers. Cassandra Peterson, consider becoming a Sea Film member. It's only,
Yes.
what, like $60 a year?
Yeah, $60 a year.
Easy. Come on. And then
We'll name it the Elvira Film Center if you give us a few $1 million. But I'd like you to enjoy what you have in reserve right now for your long career.
Absolutely.
But no, like give a little donation, and we'll name the. God, what would we name what part of the film center could we name?
I think that you could name like the bar and lobby after her, like the Elvira bar. I mean, we could come up with something a little bit like
Well,
cuter.
Elvira's probably trademarked, and there'd probably be a whole lot of things about that.
yeah.
But the Cassandra Peterson Lounge.
Yes, the
would
Cassandra
definitely be
Peterson
something.
Lounge. Or maybe one of the theaters, it's like you have Theater 1, Theater 2, Theater Cassandra Peterson.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I mean, that could be fun.
I was just thinking of Theater 2 as in like Theater 2 boobs. An amazing pair
And
of legs.
an amazing pair of legs. Oh my gosh. Well, we've covered a lot today. Is there anything else that we haven't covered that you want to be sure that we talk about?
I think that's about it. I mean, if you've never seen, I guess we should just put this call out there.
Yeah.
If you've never seen Elvira Mistress of the Dark, the movie, what the hell's wrong with you?
What's going on?
Go do it right now. I know it is available. It's free on Tubi.
Free
Tubi
on
is
Tubi.
where everybody finds everything. You might gotta watch a couple commercials, but they're
Yep.
fine.
It's worth it. It's only a 90-minute movie anyway. So with
Exactly.
the commercials, it ends up being like, still less than 2 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, like your life will be so improved
Yes.
by just watching Elvira Mistress of the Dark, and yeah, that's just all I can say.
You can't
is-
stop smiling when you're watching that movie.
Exactly.
You know?
It's no notes. It's a near perfect film.
Yep. Aged basically perfect.
Aged
It's
perfectly.
It aged perfectly.
Like Elvira herself, like Cassandra Peterson.
Exactly.
It sure aged well.
Yeah. And I guess, case closed. Open
Yeah.
and shut. Let's go.
Doot.
Well, Keith, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been such a delight and such a fun excuse to rewatch this movie and to talk about how much we love it for an hour. So,
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for inviting me so we could talk about Elvira.
yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you next time, okay?
All right, can't wait.
Okay, bye, everybody.